You're out!
A presentation of AIT.
When I first came here, this was in '74, and the first test scores, state test scores came out, our third graders were reading at a 3 percentile. It took us 4 years to get them over the 50 percentile.
Well, let's go where you belong.
No one wanted to come to this school, either as a teacher nor as an administrator, and I certainly can tell you I didn't want to be here. I wouldn't trade this school for a minute now, not for a minute.
¿Le gustaron? ¿Estudiaron? Come on, mira, ¿estudiantes?
This program tells the story of two schools in Greater Los Angeles. Our first stop is the Bennett Q Elementary School in Inglewood, California, just outside the Los Angeles city limits. There is a solid middle-class core in the region served by Bennett Q, but the school also serves a large poor transient population. Nearly 60% of the students who attend Bennett Q are eligible for the subsidized lunch program. Despite the demographic odds, Bennett Q's achievement scores have improved considerably. For example, third grade math scores have moved from the lowest to the highest quartile in the state. This success has taken place under the leadership of Principal Nancy Ichinaga. The keys: a belief every child can succeed and a system to make it happen.
Show me. Sound.
People have a notion that kids from, minority kids in particular, from urban settings and in urban public schools really are not or cannot do very well. And I really have to refute that point of view.
Is that your science fair project? Yeah. Good.
My kids do as well or better than kids just about anywhere. First of all, we believe that the school must be a safe place for all kids.
1/4 is greater than 1/10.
We also expect the kids to come to school believing that it's their time to be serious students. And we do believe that every child can learn to read, to write, and to be a successful student.
Lulu, you need to work with 5, remember? Let's start all over again.
We have worked out a system where everybody is taught specific things that make them a successful student. And it's what every teacher does.
5 beans in there for me.
The system begins in kindergarten,
Then the next one
where
up
teacher
here.
Charlotte Watanabe is laying the foundations for later success in reading and math.
Very good. You used a lot of colors in this pattern. 5 different colors.
Kindergarten
You
is a
did it all
very
in
important
order there. Very
grade.
good. Do you think you'll be able to finish it? Oh, terrific. We want to see that.
If we don't make them feel good about themselves by making them succeed in whatever they do in the classroom, you know, they're going to start feeling like failures from the very beginning. So we want them to succeed here. We want them to feel good about what they do. So whatever task they have, we give them a lot of praise at it.
Okay, tell us how many red blocks and how many white blocks you use.
White and three red.
Good for you. How about this one right over here? This looks interesting.
White, red,
What we do here in kindergarten with all these manipulatives is to build a good foundation of the understanding of the concepts we're building, so that when they go up to first grade, second grade, to the upper grades, they'll have a strong understanding of what exactly they're doing in those grades when they are working with computations.
two blue.
Very good. Okay. What number were you working with? 5, yes.
Point to the fraction that's larger. 1/4.
The building block approach continues through the primary grades, so that by the time students reach Howard Rothenberg's 5th grade, they have a solid grounding in the basics that they need to achieve success in math. Today's lesson deals with fractions.
If you had a pie and you cut it into 4 pieces, then you'll have more than if you had a pie and you cut it into 10 pieces, you'll have smaller pieces.
Okay, that's a good explanation. Obviously, if you don't have the foundations from 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade, you can't begin 4th grade where you need to start. And you have to go back and remediate, and you're losing time, and the children, and that's what happens in most inner city schools. The children are years behind because every year has to go back and repeat what they did not learn previously. Well, we do not have that problem here for the most part. Now make sure you have the decimal in the right place in your answers also. We have a very structured curriculum at each grade level, and every teacher knows what he or she is responsible to teach, so that the following year's teacher can take up at that spot, and the kids, you know, are pretty much at grade level. That would be the same number, then you can add the 0. That's the same. That's the answer, right?
Ooh, you got that one right. Whenever new students enroll at our school, I do a quick check. I do it because I want to know where they're at academically. I also want to get to know them, and I want to meet the parents and do a little work on letting them know what we're all about. Okay, I see 2 problems. Number 1, you know math, okay? Number 1, you got to learn your fractions. And I want to talk to your mom so she can go to the drugstore and buy you a workbook on fractions, and you can work on it. And I'll teach her how to teach. One of the very important things about our school is that our kids are held accountable for their learning. In other words, we have expectations by grade level for every kid. In spelling, she's a little behind. Think about a 3.6. Okay, now in math, she's right. And the kids and the parents know from the very, very beginning that if they are in kindergarten, these are the things they have to master before the year is over. And if they don't, they probably will not go on to the next grade. So a kid doing real good in 4th grade would be able to do all these problems.
Let's go for it. Get your brain turned on. Ready?
Yes.
Say cry.
Cry.
Show me. Sound.
Bennett Q's curriculum focuses on math and reading.
Say sheep.
Sheep.
Show me.
Reading presents a special challenge, since nearly 40% of the students are Hispanic, many with English as their second language.
Oh, Ashley.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Harman.
How are you today?
I am fine. How are you?
Special classes like this one are available to help Spanish-speaking children improve their English comprehension.
What is the date, please?
Today is
I do believe that if you want to learn English, you have to learn English. I don't believe that you're going to learn English by learning Spanish. Parents, when they came to our school, expected the kids to be taught in English. They didn't expect us to be able to do it in Spanish.
Everybody read it for me.
This clown has a big frown.
Let me see a big frown. Every time I say, let me see a frown, it makes us want to smile, doesn't it? Let me see a smile. Which is better?
Smile.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that. Okay.
To teach reading, the Bennett Q curriculum relies heavily on phonics. It's a curriculum that the faculty strongly supports, since they help to write it.
Feet. Everybody.
This clown.
What we do is make sure everyone learns. One, Miriam. When Nancy came in and things were sort of haphazard, the first thing that she did was to start rewriting curriculum, and we've all done a lot of that together as teachers, so that everyone can be successful.
Ever had anywhere or
By the time they reach third grade, Bennett Q students are reading and discussing books like Charlotte's Web, under the guidance of teacher Mary Lou Reingold.
That's nice. Okay, discussion question. In Charlotte's Web, as in every book, there's a theme or a main idea. And one of the most important themes in this story is about friendship. A really important aspect of friendship is sacrifice. And who can give me an example in Charlotte's Web of when did she sacrifice? Jonathan B.
When she said that she wasn't, it was too inconvenient for her to go, but she went anyway.
Go where?
To the fair.
Exactly. Okay, now think in your life. When have you been sacrificing? Remember, I know you've all helped people. You're great helpers. But when have you helped when you didn't want to? Elizabeth.
When I was sleeping at home, and my niece, she broke the lamp where she was throwing balls, and she came to me in my bedroom. She woke me up, and I told her I didn't want to help her to stay out of trouble because I was too sleepy.
But did you help her? How come?
Because I didn't want her to get in trouble.
That's neat. That's a great example.
It's exciting to see these children being able to read and to being able to digest a story like Charlotte's Web and get the meaning out of it.
Interrupt her sleep and help somebody.
The school's special because it's run so well. Nancy, the principal, is ahead of her time. She knows where we all need to be moving, so she keeps us on track.
I monitor what happens in the classrooms by periodic tests, which the teachers all give, and every teacher in every grade level gives the same tests.
How do you say this word?
By carefully monitoring the performance of each student, Nancy Ichinaga ensures consistency across the curriculum and helps teachers identify and correct any weaknesses in their approach.
Okay, to find out or to make out.
Okay, so do that, okay? Look at your post.
Here, Nancy and Cheryl Draper brainstorm with new fourth grade teachers to find better ways to assess the writing skills of their students.
Could you guys kind of take a look at them and come up with something that's more usable for you guys?
Could we even give it, instead of 1, 3, or 4, could we give it a content score and a mechanic score? Yeah. Because they have something to do with one another, but they're two different things.
It's too hard to. These assessments really help us stay on focus. It helps particularly the new teachers because, they really have no idea what it is they're supposed to teach. And this way they learn this is what we need to cover. And so they're more successful. Write about real stuff. Yeah. The kids.
Nancy shows her support for her teachers in many ways, in small ways and in large ways. When someone's having a problem and Nancy needs to deal with it, I feel she approaches it as a group, as a team effort. We need to work on this. What can we do? How can I help you to change whatever it is she feels needs to be a little better? And whether it's an individual or as a grade level, we usually kind of brainstorm and come up with some ideas on things that can be changed.
And I think you have to focus in on, if it's descriptive, then you got to use good verbs.
If you get a good principal who knows what she's talking about and knows curriculum and knows her people, then anyone can do it. And no one should take excuses. We don't have excuses for why children can't learn.
Right.
Our main focus is to make our kids successful. We don't teach because we need a job. We teach primarily because school is for kids.
Good, okay. And all together you use how many for each train of cubes?
5.
5, okay. Good job. Will you take that home and read to your mommy and daddy? Okay, good. Good job, Ronald. Oh, look, Lautem, you finished your butterfly picture.
Excellent. Okay, let me see. Very nice. Beautiful. Oh, everybody spelled clown. Let's say it.
Clown.
We have a very nurturing environment. We think that's very important. We have a place where kids can work hard, where they can feel good about themselves, where they can be successful.
And we learn how to share, and it's always good to care. Big you, I love you.
I think that a child who doesn't feel good about himself cannot feel good about the world. So we try to make every one of our kids successful, at least academically. So whatever may be wrong with another part of his life, at least this part is good.
Yes, I go to bed.
Last sound. Motorboat. Right.
Our second Los Angeles school is located in a predominantly Mexican-American section of the city. The school is Euclid Avenue Elementary. There are more than 1,200 students attending Euclid Avenue. 93% of them are Hispanic. Over 90% are eligible for the subsidized lunch program, and the majority are from single-parent families. If you want to keep up with what's happening at Euclid Avenue School in the heart of East Los Angeles, just follow these Reeboks, but be prepared to hurry. Esther McShane and her school are on the move.
I do not spend my time during the day doing paperwork.
Say it.
The action is in the classroom.
It's illegal to hold.
The action is in the yard. The action is in the eating area. I have high needs to be with my students and my staff.
And he has high expectations today.
Until Esther Castrita McShane took over as principal, Euclid was a very low-achieving school with little expectation of future improvement. Today, Esther and her staff are doing what it takes to achieve success at Euclid Avenue Elementary School.
It's up to you. You are the writers.
When she came to Euclid 4 years ago, Esther's first step was to establish a safe environment for the children. She fenced in the school grounds and established strict rules of conduct throughout the school.
Now, first of all, let's talk about something. Do you have a right to get angry?
Yes.
Yes. What do you need to do with the person if you're angry with the person?
Tell them not to bother me.
Okay. And does the person have a right to know why not to be bothered? Mm-hmm. So you need to tell the person why. Is that correct? Okay. And
sometimes enforcing the rules requires a one-on-one talk with a student. Sometimes it requires a session with both the students and the parents.
Talk. Estamos hablando que la cosa con Francisco aquí, él necesita.
I believe that all of us are responsible for our choices, and that I have a role in to help people understand the choice that they make in their behavior.
Maintaining order also means maintaining the appearance of order, by trying to stay one step ahead of the graffiti that plagues the area, for example. Every weekend, local gangs and rival gangs from other neighborhoods leave their mark. The graffiti is a constant reminder of the obstacles that Euclid Avenue students face every day. Many of the children come to Euclid speaking no English at all. To cope with the differences in language, Euclid places a strong emphasis on bilingual education.
The sole purpose for bilingual education is to acquire English, to be literate in English, to converse and to compete in the English-speaking world. In order for someone to learn a second language, there has to be a certain level of literacy so that they can transfer understandings, concepts to another language.
Uno.
No, muy fácil, ¿verdad? Dime en una oración completa.
Hay un león mal en la careta.
Muy bien, Dina. Excelente.
The bilingual program here is very successful. It's successful because it's a philosophy that has been embraced by all of us.
I have addressed the issue.
The faculty wasn't always united on issues like bilingual education. In fact, one of the first obstacles that Esther McShane had to overcome on the road to excellence was a divided faculty.
If I'm not mistaken, is up to date.
When Esther first came to this school, we were in a state of chaos. Teachers were battling with each other and just totally upset with administration.
Because you are challenging.
And of course, the students were losing out.
I'm on the up and up.
Test scores were down. Attitudes were pretty bad. And when Esther first came in, she decided that we needed to bring in the Achievement Council in order to get some necessary changes done.
There was racial tension. There was tension of teachers that were not talking to each other in the halls. There was no focus on looking at kids and achievement. There were the teachers that were with the bilingual program and versus the non-bilingual teachers. All those things were going on. It was a fractured school, very fragmented.
Emilia Tinoco is head of the local teachers union and a classroom teacher at Euclid. She was here when Esther became principal.
Ms. McShane brought some outside mediators, which were part of this Achievement Council, to come to see if maybe we can work this out. And what the point that we got to was not really having to change over our beliefs, but at least respect the other person.
Let me just tell you that
they began to experience that it is okay to be different. It is okay to have our own beliefs. Then they were able to go beyond the cultural, racial, language barriers, and they began to communicate about educating children.
Start thinking about the other programs too.
We're only here for one person, and that reason, and that is to educate children. And I need to provide the climate, the environment where learning can take place.
How he is.
In order to provide that environment, Esther has focused her attention on the classroom.
Into something else.
Her strategy is to produce successful students by fostering excellent teaching.
That this is not one.
What I look for in a classroom is to see time on task. Why is it that the child is engaged in that activity? Is that activity challenging?
That sticks out, okay.
A deer?
A deer, where does it look like a deer? Point.
Horse?
We need to begin to concentrate on what we need to do to upgrade the educational program in every classroom.
I want them to begin to focus on the thinking aspect of reaching a conclusion of something.
Esther follows up her observation of teacher Linda Murakami with a formal review.
Whatever, let's say this is the picture, and that you would show the picture to the entire group and say, study this picture and be ready to tell me what animal this is and how do you know it's that animal, because they do have the background.
Okay.
I think what she's really good at is observing teachers and seeing their strengths and try to draw from their strengths and getting us to share with each other.
What did she promise?
Esther encourages teachers to share by providing them with time to observe each other in the classroom. Afterwards, she will meet with the teachers to discuss their observations.
And so did he get the necklace?
That's a lifetime skill.
I think to be an effective administrator, you have to be
allow them
a
to
teacher.
do that and feel good about it.
This is a large classroom. The entire school is a large classroom. I have teachers, I have children, and I have community, I have parents.
What actually is our question?
One way to involve the community in Esther's extended classroom is to conduct educational programs for parents and their children.
That we haven't even thought of yet. Try to solve the problem. Then I'm going to let you work in
This is a session on problem-solving skills. Programs like these help lay the foundations for success by integrating parents into the life of the school.
You want me to double that $1.20?
Yeah. 120 until what time?
Attaining success also means preventing failure, and that means helping children overcome obstacles to learning.
What's our goal today?
This student needs help in setting and meeting daily goals.
Following directions.
Individual attention is an important part of Euclid's program.
And then
Every week, a committee of teachers and specialists meets to discuss children who are experiencing difficulty in the classroom. Vice Principal Robert Cordova chairs these meetings.
In the movement from what he has in his head to the paper. That's the part that's missing.
Like overall, like when we talk about everything from behavior to completing of tasks, he's not progressing well enough to beyond grade level skills. So I feel that he needs help.
Esther has established a safe environment that is conducive to learning. She has united the faculty, encouraged professional development, and involved parents in the life of the school.
Write it down for me, please.
Her next challenge is to improve student achievement, the most important job of all.
Working together.
Excellent.
Today, we're going to use communication. We're going to use the system communication as a way of looking at another person's point of view. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf.
To help improve achievement, Esther has established a bilingual gifted and talented program.
The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar.
Her plan is that the teaching strategies developed in the program will soon be used throughout the school.
I rang the bell.
Teacher Geraldine Allen works with one of these classes.
I called, Mr. Pig, Mr. Pig, are you in? He yelled back, go away, wolf. You can't come in. I'm shaving the hair on my chinny chin chin. And they made me the big bad wolf. That's it, the real story. I was framed, but maybe you could lend me a cup of sugar? All right, looking at this story, whose point of view did we have here? The wolf's. The wolf's point of view. Usually when you hear this story, whose point of view do you hear? Okay?
Pigs.
The pigs? Yeah. Maybe the pig's point of view.
A narrator.
Who?
A narrator.
A narrator, okay. Another person's point of view. I want my children to believe in themselves and to believe that they can accomplish anything they choose to. And I realize that my job is to teach them strategies for accomplishing these things. Group 1 will create a documentary using the old camcorder.
Allen breaks the class into cooperative groups. One will produce a video, another a newspaper front page, and others will rewrite famous fairy tales.
And we left the house unguarded.
The purpose? To explore different points of view.
We use a lot of cooperative learning. I do depend on the children teaching themselves and with me as the guide. Your headline, and then you'll have your artist do some conception.
Okay, then you're gonna tell the story because you're the giant. Okay.
We're moving. It's a slow move, but we're moving. It's exactly what the editor thinks. It can be...
With the help of teachers like Geraldine Allen, Esther McShane has put Euclid School on the path to success.
But if I can make arrangements to reschedule that, you think you'll earn it back?
But there is still a distance to go.
There won't be a peace of mind until we begin to really upgrade children achievement in this school. Which means every single staff member needs to be on top of every child, that we need to know the child, and we need to be sure that we are providing the services that will allow the child to grow to their optimum level every year. See?
presentation of AIT.
Does our team work? Do we focus on success? Are we becoming the best that we can be? What is the key to success? And the reason why we are doing all of this is because we are...
The students at Thorncliffe Community School say they're building their future. It's a far cry from the past, when Thorncliffe was one of the most dangerous schools in Edmonton, Alberta.
Kids were just out of control at the school. There was no consequence that would fit their action.
Enter Lou Yanu, who was named principal 4 years ago. He brought in some new teachers, an entirely new attitude, and a new approach. This was to be a student-centered school.
In a student-centered school, the belief, the generic belief, is that every child can succeed.
Long way to say I.
And they are succeeding.
I am.
Discipline problems are down, academic achievement is up, and school spirit is off the charts. Thorncliffe Community School has taken off. It's a big day at Thorncliffe. This is a showdown between two floor hockey teams. The students against the teachers. At stake, the Kubasal Cup. As usual, the head cheerleader is Thorncliffe principal Lou Yanu. Right now, the 300 Thorncliffe students are finishing a series of intensive assessment exams, which is exactly why this game is being played.
If we can introduce something that children can enjoy and loosen up in regards to and have a little bit of fun with, then it just makes coming to school and going through the assessment period just a little easier for them. And in the gymnasium during the time of the cup, you can just see it on the faces of the students how much they're enjoying this.
The students are enjoying it. So are the teachers, especially when they score the first goal. It's the teachers 1-0. More about the game later. Thorncliffe is a school that's undergoing a radical transformation. One that began when Lou Yanu arrived 4 years ago.
What are you doing to mentally prepare them?
At the time, Thorncliffe was one of the worst schools in Edmonton. The school sits on the west side of the city, in the shadow of the enormous West Edmonton Mall. By U.S. standards, the surrounding neighborhood might not seem poverty-ridden. But 3/4 of Thorncliffe students are considered low income, and nearly half come from single-parent families. This is a troubled neighborhood with one of the highest crime rates in Edmonton, and many of those troubles were carried over into Thorncliffe.
It was a school that in many ways was very dysfunctional. Teachers were suspending students from the classroom to the tune of over 300 a month out of the classroom for being disruptive and out of control.
While some students were unruly, many others were frightened. James Ross is a 6th grader at Thorncliffe. He remembers how things were.
Before, on the playgrounds, there was a lot of violence and fighting all the time. And you couldn't go outside without being afraid.
Lou Yanu's first priority was to eliminate the fear. He did away with corporal punishment, but set up strict rules for behavior.
Carrie Moody?
Any student breaking those rules is disciplined quickly and fairly.
You told the boy not to touch your ball. What should you have done then, besides kicking him?
Go tell the teacher.
That's right. Now, when you told Michael not to touch your ball, how did you tell him that?
Ted Davis presides over daily detention. Children who have broken a rule spend their recess time here.
Okay.
You hit somebody, you're going to have a recess detention. You hit somebody in outside the school, there's going to be a consequence for that. If you hit somebody when you're older, and it's in a mall or in a dark shopping center parking lot, there's going to be a consequence for that action. And that's what we're trying to get these kids to realize. There's a consequence for all their actions.
Good morning, boys and girls.
Discipline is also maintained by positive reinforcement. This assembly is to award monthly Diamond of Distinction certificates to students who exhibit exemplary behavior. Any student who earns a certificate is eligible for a drawing to be held the last day of school.
The grand prize for the Diamond of Distinction Award will be a brand new 18-speed bicycle.
Any idea why you're here?
I don't.
Another distinction at Thorncliffe is to be called to the principal's office. At this school, it usually means you did something right.
For the most part, Mitch, you've made a lot of changes here at the school. You put in a lot of great effort, and that's why you're here this afternoon. I received this. And let me tell you what a celebration it is for the students when they come down to the office. I am very impressed. And we have an opportunity to share the good news with one another, and then in each and every case, I take it upon myself in the presence of the student to inform the parent or guardian of that child, whether they be at home or at work. And it is just a wonderful celebration.
Oh, that's just great. He just loves that school so much, and he's done so well since he's been going there. If it weren't for the teachers and yourself, he would not do as well as he does.
Lou Yanu also went about transforming the entire school atmosphere. Thorncliffe was to be a place where all children could succeed.
As part of our belief statement, we believe that all students have 3 generic needs. 1, a need for competency and achievement. 2, a need for structure, safety, control, and discipline. And 3, a need for positive, personalized interaction between peers and adults. As a staff, then, if we collectively believe this, at our staff meetings, we make decisions as to programs, activities, and events that match that.
Oh, wonderful. You're doing great. Can you feel it pulling?
Positive interaction between children and adults. It's evident in the classroom and on the playground. Lou Yanu does whatever it takes to make Thorncliffe as enjoyable as possible. His enthusiasm is obvious. It's also highly contagious. But discipline and an inviting atmosphere are only means to an end. The primary mission of Thorncliffe is education.
If children enjoy coming to school, there's no question they will learn. If children do not enjoy coming to school, and in fact hate being in class, regardless of how tight your curriculum is, they will learn less than they are capable of. So the teaching-learning process must be interesting. It also must be inviting and fun.
Every facial thing has a feeling. All of a sudden, your team's down there, you're down 2-4, Casey's coming to bat, all of a sudden you see tons of people getting up to leave.
Fifth grade teacher Ben Nathanson has taken that idea of combining fun and learning and turned it into an art form.
Are you mad?
Yeah.
Well, show me mad. Your best friend's getting up to leave. You paid for him to get in.
His poetry class is studying Casey at the Bat, complete with sound effects.
And I want you guys to make noise as if you're at a baseball game. And when I drop my hand, I want you to show me what you think a death-like silence is, okay? Are you ready? And that's what happened. And that's unbelievable.
I believe in what I do. And I come every morning saying, who am I going to change? How am I going to make his life better? How am I going to get him to learn something? They challenge me, and I accept that challenge. And all I ask for is effort. But if I'm not going to come with the enthusiasm, they're not going to learn anything. So it's my personality to take the humor and look for the humor in somebody and draw it out of them.
Now, did you change your expression?
Ben Nathanson doesn't simply have his students read out loud. They take this poem, search for the emotional elements, then act them out.
Casey's coming. Look, here he comes. Look at him. Yeah, that's expression, folks, not...
I want them to get excited about reading. Words are fun. Words can do things to you. If you use a little drama with it, if you use expressions and make them feel it, when they go to their desk, You've got them started. You've got a fire built in them. Casey's coming to bat. You've got a chance to win. All right. DJ's jumping up for joy. They're going, counting his money. Man, I got money on this game. And you challenge them. I'm challenging those kids to find a different way to do it. Right? So you've got to believe what you're pretending to see. What are you pretending to see? Casey's coming. Show me Casey. And then they pick apart the story slowly and they see it differently. That's exciting for a child. Versus, here's the book, read it, answer the questions. That's not exciting.
Things are exciting back at the hockey game. The students have a penalty shot. The contest for the Kubasaw Cup is tied. Teachers won, students won.
Okay, how was this story? How was her story different from the original fairy tale?
This is another school-wide activity, something called shared reading. Each week, students gather in small groups to read stories they've written.
Launchers to aid us in the battle. We only have 20 warriors.
When Holly got there, she hid.
Obviously, it is a very academic-directed program. The opportunity for children to engage in quality writing skills.
Joy to meet you, Holly told him.
But also there is a social component to it as well. The children then have the opportunity to meet with all grade levels in the school and share their writing. And so it goes back to the idea that academics and behavior can fit very well together.
Yes.
At Thorncliffe, good behavior goes hand in hand with academic success. And if a student isn't succeeding, there's plenty of extra support available.
You go ahead and try and distract them.
Pat Costoros teaches a skills class. If students are disruptive or have trouble paying attention, they come here for one period to learn some basic interpersonal skills.
Yeah. Keep trying. Be real persistent, Corey. Yes, Lee?
Corey keeps poking his pencil and distracting me.
Oh, no. So how does that make you feel?
Sad.
Sad?
Mad.
And mad? Well, you've done a good job by telling us what's going on instead of just poking him back, right?
The skills class has a single purpose, to get these students ready and able to learn.
Back of the guy, pushing him back and forth. If they are able to have some self-control and manage their behavior within a classroom and listen to the teacher, then they're picking up on the lessons that the teacher's trying to teach them. That in turn helps their academic skills, which in turn later in life can benefit them in the workplace.
Thorncliffe teachers talk often about preparing their students for later life. So when Ted Davis has his fourth graders read a story, they do it in small groups. The focus isn't on just reading, but also on cooperation.
They come into my classroom, we have to cooperate with each other. We're a team, we work together, we're a group. What we're trying to do at this school is prepare them for once they get out of this school. And no matter where they go in their life, they're going to have to cooperate with somebody, whether it's standing in a bread line or applying for a job. And the idea of teamwork is very, very important.
8 times 6. Okay, team 3 gets...
This is another effort to make learning as engaging as possible. When it's time to work on math, Ted Davis breaks his class into teams.
My class was weak in the multiplication facts. So I try and bring in these little games like the multiplication relay where they go up to the board, they have fun with it, make it a bit more incentive.
And 8 times 8.
Again, the team effort, you work together.
Meanwhile, the student hockey team works together to break the tie. With time running out, the students hold a 2-to-1 lead over the teachers.
Okay, 9 planes, 3 planes fly away, 9 take away 3 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gotcha.
There's a concentrated effort at Thorncliffe to improve self-esteem, an effort that begins on the first day of school. Joanne Moulter wants her first graders to experience success very early. Even a simple success, like solving a math problem.
What is 7 plus 2? Can you look at the picture or use your fingers? 9. Well done. 9. So no, simple. Go on your way. Keep going. Looks good.
before you can teach, you have to have the kids feeling good about themselves. I think they go in hand. I don't think you can have the academics just academic. The kids are not going to be motivated to learn. They have to feel good about themselves, and when they do that, then you can teach them, then they will learn and achieve.
The Emperor's New Clothes by Hans Christian Andersen.
Self-esteem is also enhanced by support from other students. In Pauline Drinkwater's class, second graders read a story and make analogies between themselves and the main character.
He is sort of like a ruler of the town, and I'm not.
The rest of the class is then invited to make comments. The emphasis is on the positive.
I do agree that you aren't as foolish as the king. Aaron? Yvonne, I agree with you that you don't wear royal clothes and he does.
Okay, thanks for sharing, Yvonne. That was very good.
Half a dozen cookies cost $2.70. What is the cost of one? Well, the information, if we look at it like this, you have half a dozen cookies. That represents half a dozen cookies, right?
Yeah.
You are correct. Is that the only information you need to solve the problem?
The focus on self-esteem continues in the later grades. Ben Nathanson is teaching his fifth graders how to solve math problems.
Right. Now we know that half a dozen cookies cost $2.70.
But most of the knowledge is produced by the students themselves.
Is he missing one more thing in that problem? Is there anything else in the mathematical problem you need to draw? Give him the sheet so he can read the problem quickly. Are you sure, Ray, that's the only thing you need? Hands if you know there's something missing. Just one person. Holly's not sure, she's halfway down. Now she's positive, she's guessing. Mr. Robinson looks confident. Mr. Paquette, you don't look so confident. Are you happy with it?
Yeah.
Ask your partner if he's happy with it.
Happy with it?
Yeah.
Okay, set the elevator down. You're not happy with it.
I am happy, but there's something wrong.
No, step one. We're still step one. Mr. Robinson.
It doesn't tell you that you have to find out what the price of one cookie is.
So, should you not draw an arrow or draw one and say cost, question mark? Like, what are we supposed to find out? As far as you're concerned, we got the answer right here. $2.70, half a dozen. Whoa, what a waste of time. Because all this information is not leading back to here. So could you have drawn that?
Yeah.
How many did? How many took it that extra step? How many did not? How many have this? If you took it one more step, I bow to you. Congratulations. You took it an extra step. You thought this much more.
Don't get us wrong here with our philosophy about
But you
self-esteem.
can just leave it like that.
Academics is important to us. But I think if you check our records, I think you'll see the academic standing of a lot of these kids. And I think we can stand tall with our heads up saying, we're not just touchy-feely, we're not into that. We're into the human being and doing the best that they possibly can do. And academics is very important to us at this school. But self-worth, self-esteem starts it all off.
The reason that we're getting together is to make our community a graffiti-free community.
There's a major effort at Thorncliffe to connect students with the world outside of school. Donna Granger's class wants to get rid of graffiti in Edmonton.
Graffiti isn't just what it says in the dictionary. Graffiti is all about feelings. And stop and think for a moment. All right, let's start over here. One of your feelings was?
Embarrassed.
Embarrassed.
Feel sorry for him or her?
Sorry. We feel embarrassed, we feel sorry. And your group, please.
You feel scared?
Thank you.
These students don't just talk about graffiti.
Mad.
They try to do something about it.
Protected.
That includes making a phone call to City Hall.
What has to be cleaned?
The graffiti.
All right, let's help them. Got ahead of myself.
This is another learning activity that takes place out of the classroom. The Thorncliffe Rocket Club is putting on a show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire!
The Rocket Club was the idea of school counselor Pat Bizzell.
The idea that we put children
in a little box called school, and we invest their childhood there, I don't believe has been overly successful. At Thorncliffe School, we invest children in the daily act of living, in the daily act of making their world a little bit better.
Things are going a little bit better for the teachers. They score to even the hockey game at 2 goals apiece. This big match will be decided by a shootout.
I'm asking you to begin to read on your own and take some responsibility for this for yourself, okay? I don't want you to be dependent on me. These are well within your reading levels, and I'm expecting you to work on them to get started.
While the general belief at Thorncliffe is that all students can succeed, there's support for children who are having difficulty.
I'm expecting you to take the responsibility of reading this yourself right now, okay? Great, thanks very much. How to be.
Brian Ferguson teaches a group of students with emotional and behavioral problems. The idea is to eventually get these kids back into a regular classroom.
I see work done.
In the meantime, they're taught the regular curriculum and offered as much attention and encouragement as possible.
Nice job, guys. Okay, Newell, really in there with me and a real contributor today, and I really appreciate that. Thanks very much. Leo, nice job, right in there like a bear. Way to go. How to be.
So let's go to page 9, and you read all over on how they look.
One more special class is made up of children who have fallen at least 2 years behind their classmates.
I guess I would describe them as I have a family of 11 children. They range in age from 9 to 13. Do you know what a high rocking
Monica Ullman teaches the class. Again, the goal is to have these students catch up and move on.
They come feeling very left out. Some of them actually come with quite a chip on their shoulder, saying things like, "I'm stupid." End of story. They believe that, and they would repeat that quite often at the beginning of the year.
Yes, he used to live in Europe.
My philosophy as a teacher is, whether it's with special needs students or with regular students, is that all children can have successes if the situation is set up very carefully at the beginning so that those successes are very meaningful to them.
There's a continual effort at Thorncliffe to monitor all students, an effort that goes beyond the usual standardized tests. The school has developed its own assessment program in which each child is tested at the beginning of the school year and again at the end of the year.
We are more interested in individual growth for students over the course of the year than comparing them to other learning groups either in the city or in the province. We are able to do that by identifying the change that takes place between their achievement level at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year, the classic pre- and post-test assessment profile.
If testing shows a child is falling behind, teachers at Thorncliffe search for new and different strategies. All around the school, there are reminders to the staff. They're expected to do anything it takes to reach every child.
It's a team effort. I will not say to the child, you did not succeed. It's we did not succeed. And that includes the parent. It's a triangle, and the kid has to know it's a triangle. And it's the school, the teacher, the parent, and the child. And we truly believe that here at Thorncliffe.
If a child in a classroom is having difficulty learning, the teachers have committed themselves to working with that child, certainly within the classroom, but outside the classroom, as well as networking with the parents to ensure that that child will succeed.
Tell me that one.
Parents have played a critical role in Thorncliffe's transformation, whether it's tutoring children or monitoring the playground.
25 minutes after 6.
After 6.
We have another bingo coming up on Tuesday, and we were wondering if you'd be able to work it.
Cheryl Rose is president of the Parental Advisory Council, which has more than 100 members. Once a month, the council runs a bingo game at the West Edmonton Mall.
And 34.
They raise enough money to pay for most of the school's field trips.
52.
We have a tendency to find out that budgets have been cut. The schools don't always have enough funding to do exactly what they want to do. and whatever they've decided to do, which isn't saying that it isn't enough for the kids, but we just like to give that little extra so that, you know, the kids get the best that they can possibly get.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Good luck, Ray.
Back at the hockey game, the shootout is nearly over.
He's going to shoot. Eventually, he's going to shoot. He's going!
The students score to go ahead by 1. The teachers are down to their last chance.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Here we go!
If they miss this shot, the game is over. The students win the game and the famous Scuba Saw Cup, at least until next year. Lou Yanu has accomplished his initial goal. He's changed the environment of an entire school and the attitude of an entire student body.
We've got Thorncliffe spirit, lots of Thorncliffe spirit in our schools and voices, you can hear it. We've got Thorncliffe spirit, we've got Thorncliffe spirit, the spirit of Thorncliffe is here. That's what school's meant to be. Our school focuses on success, our team works and does its best. We have terrific students here, fantastic teachers, principal gear. We've got Thorncliffe spirit, lots of Thorncliffe spirit in our schools and voices, you can hear it. We've got Thorncliffe spirit, we've got Thorncliffe spirit, the spirit of Thorncliffe is here. That's what's meant to be.
Pretend I know what I'm doing.
Thorncliffe Community School has become a haven, a place to enjoy, and a place to learn.
Once a school has the base foundation of strong, solid, supportive discipline, as well as a vibrant, spirited, inviting culture and climate, academics, hard, well fine-tuned academics, can be brought into a school with much more enthusiasm. With the base foundation in place, teachers are more empowered and enthusiastic and find the energy to engage in curriculum development and redevelopment.
So across the top of your page, how people got to school.
Lou Yanu is given credit for turning around an entire school. But he says he's done just one thing: assemble an all-star team of teachers.
The role of the coach, like a hockey coach, is to bring the highest quality of players to play on that team. And the Thorncliffe team has players that are of a quality that could go out at any one given moment and win the Stanley Cup of school.
We've got Thorncliffe spirit, the spirit of Thorncliffe is here. That's what's meant to be.
A big hand for the Thorncliffe Community School Choir.